Welcome to another edition of the Buttercom Telecoms Files. This time I would like to talk to you about the regulatory nightmare in the United States. What we start seeing in the United States is that this country is starting to lag behind in developments that are happening in the telecommunications market worldwide. It's very difficult to actually start utilizing the telecommunications infrastructure for a range of different services. During the Bush era, we've seen that we've gone away from open networks and that the power has been given back to the big companies in telecommunications and in cable television, that they are actually in charge of what can be done and cannot be done by the network. The previous government, in its infinite wisdom, thought that there would be plenty of competition between these organizations in order to advance telecommunications in that country. Obviously, that's not the case. In all reality, there might be a duopoly in most of the American markets between a cable operator and a telephone operator, but that's the best you get. On top of that, yes, there are some smaller resellers, but they provide DSL services, etc. But the reality is that they're not really in all that much of competition, and they totally depend on the wholesale products, the resale products that they actually can get from the carriers. Then you see that a range of regulations that have been passed over the last decade, are actually counterproductive to what the digital economy requires. The internet had become a content service rather than it's seen as a utility to deliver applications to the market. VoIP as such is a content service rather than, again, a basic access product. So to unravel all of that is a massive job. You really have to start from scratch. Now, the visionary people in the United States, and that applies to the White House, that applies to the FCC, that applies to the Department of Commerce, all of these people clearly understand that we have to change that. But it's not that easy in America. It's a free market, so there is not the trust that the government can actually regulate this in a good way. So therefore they prefer to leave it to private enterprise to handle this. But obviously private enterprise is run by the vested interests, and they are more than happy to keep the situation as it is. Vertical integrated models are fantastic. You have very high rates on your investments, return rates on your investments. You can monopolize the market, you can bundle products, you can do all sorts of things. The reality, however, is that if you base it on that sort of level, yes, you do get the services that we're talking about, but they are so expensive. They might be twice the price as these prices are in other parts of the world. So a full-blown fiber to the home package in the United States could cost you $125 a month. Yeah, a similar sort of package in Korea or in Japan would cost you less than $50. So you really start seeing that the economic advantage of the countries that actually start utilizing the infrastructure as a utility, are gigantic. And in that respect, America is going to run further and further behind. They're not a leader in broadband. They're not a leader in the digital economy. So you really start seeing that the future of the economy is no longer led by America. That's a real pity, because it's a very powerful and a very innovative economy in the United States, and we should have them right in front of everybody, because that would be beneficiary for everybody involved in it. But lots and lots of things will need to be happening in the United States before we actually see the right environment to move forward into the digital economy. I hope that you enjoyed this edition of the Buttercom Telecoms Files. Additional information is provided at the end of the clip. As always, I'm very interested in your feedback. Thank you for your listening, and see you next time.